Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the virtual meeting of the Hyde Park Town Board. Today is Monday, November 16th, and I hope everyone is well and preparing for a quiet Thanksgiving. Um, Please join me while we pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of
The United States of America and to
uh,
the
republic
for which
for
it stands,
which stands
one
one
nation,
nation
under
under
God,
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty,
with
justice
liberty and
for all.
justice
liberty and
for all.
justice for all.
That reminded me of how my family sings happy birthday. So, okay, well, good. So may I have a motion to accept the minutes of the November 2nd meeting?
Make a motion?
Second,
And all in favor?
aye.
Aye. Okay, so we do have a couple of adjustments to our agenda tonight. And I'd like to seek a motion to amend resolution number 3 because we are taking out, what are we taking out, 10 pipe?
We're
cleaning?
gonna, number 3, we're going to amend, we're gonna remove the basin and pipe cleaning from the resolution.
Resolution as per the request of the highway super. And then we are also adding resolutions 13 and 14. The first 13 is the agreement with Verizon, and 14 is to authorize a new position at the to work in the Human Resources Department. So may I have
Yes.
a motion to make those 3 adjustments to our agenda?
I make that motion?
I'll second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. So we do have public comment that on the agenda, and I'd just like to ask the town clerk if anyone has submitted any comment on any of the resolutions.
I've received no comments.
And Neil, did anyone register to vote to speak at this meeting? No? Okay. All right, good. All right, so we do have 2 public hearings on the agenda. The first is on our community development block grant application submission. And Joe and I have been working with the rec commission, the rec director, excuse me, and with the participation of the rec commission on developing, I think, a really good application to expand the facilities at Dinsmore Park. And as many people know, we were successful in receiving the award for 2020. And those improvements are underway right now, and that is to build pickleball courts and improve the basketball courts at Dinsmore Park. So just to kind of review the parameters for CDBG funding, they have to benefit low to moderate income folks. And the town is provided a map by Dutchess County Planning that identifies those areas that fall in those income blocks. So it's fairly limited what the town is able to do, but we are fortunate that we have received the awards almost every year for the last number of years. And so this year, the income qualified parks were Beck and Dinsmore. None of the other parks complied. And, we do have our primary park at Hackett Hill, but sadly that is not in an income qualified block. We do hope at some point that we may undertake an income survey, which would allow us to make improvements at that park. But that was just not in the cards this year, particularly because of COVID. So we are going to submit an application for 118,000 for playground improvements at Dinsmore. And, our thought process was that, with the improvements that are currently there and the high visibility of the park, that we are in a good place to really kind of expand those recreational opportunities for different ages, as Ken pointed out last time. So That's the public hearing. And with that, I'll ask the town clerk to go ahead and read the public hearing notice.
Please take notice that the town board of the town of Hyde Park shall conduct a public hearing to discuss the use of Dutchess County Community Development Block Grant Program funds for the fiscal year 2021 on November 16th, 2020 at 6:05 p.m. Per the governor's executive orders, the meeting and public hearing will be held virtually with no gathering at town hall and live streamed on YouTube. For remote public procedures, please use the following link, which is available on our town website, hydeparkny.us. By order of the town board of the town of Hyde Park, dated October 19th, 2020, Hyde Park, New York, Donna McGrogan, town clerk.
Thanks, Donna. So again, did you receive any comments?
I did not.
Okay, and Neil, has anyone registered to speak?
Nobody is registered.
Okay, so actually, I guess I didn't ask for a motion to open the public hearing, but Donna's reading of the public notice suffices, I'm assuming. So unless we have any other thoughts on it, I'll go ahead and seek a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close it.
Second that.
Okay, all right, well, thanks. And do you want to thank the Rec Commission for working with us on this proposal? And, we'll keep our fingers crossed and make sure we write a good, strong application and hopefully we'll receive the monies.
Perfect.
Hey,
Okay, so then we have a second public hearing. That's a proposed assessment rolls filed by the town assessor for the town of Hyde Park for fiscal year 2020. So may I have a motion to open that public hearing?
Make a motion.
second.
And Donna, would you please read that public hearing notice?
Okay. And on both of the last two, those were, everybody voted okay on that. Everybody voted in favor?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, please take notice that the town board of the town of Hyde Park shall conduct a public hearing on the proposed assessment rolls that the town assessor of the town of Hyde Park, Dutchess County, New York, has filed for the fiscal year 2021 for the properties within the special improvement districts in the town of Hyde Park pursuant to town law, section 239, on November 16th, 2020 at 6:10 p.m. Per the governor's executive orders, the meeting and public hearing will be held virtually with no gathering at town hall and live streamed at YouTube. For remote public hearing procedures, please follow the town website link, which is hydeparkny.us. By order of the town board of the town of Hyde Park, dated November 2nd, 2020, Hyde Park, New York, Donna McGrogan, town clerk.
Thanks, Donna. And again, were there any comments received by you, Donna?
There were not.
And Neil, did anyone register to speak for this public hearing?
Nobody registered.
Okay, so just to clarify, because it is a little confusing, so the assessment rolls are for the taxes for 2021, but they're based on the fiscal year 2020 because the assessor closes the roll as of July 1st. So that's why there's a discrepancy in the year. Okay, so does any of the town board have any comment?
No, only thing I would hope that maybe in 2021 or 2022, I know we've been discussing it for 10 years since we've been on the town board about doing a revow for the town. And I think, it's something that we should really look at and consider. There's going to be some winners, there's going to be some losers, but with all the homes that are being sold, I just think it's a good time to maybe have a discussion about when or how we can go about. I know it's going to be expensive, and I know we tried doing a grant between, I think there's 2 other municipalities that are not at 100% valuation, but it's something I think we should probably put back on the table shortly again.
Okay, well, you could kind of head that up, Ken. Again, it's on our list, to-do list for sure. I think that the reason we haven't really gotten to that is because we've been focusing on improving the
I get it.
actual, not just the
Right.
assessment, but what we actually have. And I think you're right. It's a good time because we are seeing additional investment. But, we are probably talking about 800,000 to do
Sure.
the full value reassessment. And, that's not something that you can bond for longer than 5 years. It's a maximum of 5 years. So, I think that's definitely on our to-do list. But the list is
Well,
kind
no,
of,
the
kinda
list is
long.
always long, and I get it.
I know,
And
but
I really do. And I just don't know when there's ever a good time to bring it up. And I thought, since we're talking about the assessment, this is the time really just to bring it
mhm.
forth again to say, hey, it's something that we should at least look at again.
Yeah, I'm certainly open to that. And I think it's really just always comes back to the money.
Sure.
One of the emails that I received this week is that the town should be doing a new comprehensive plan and new zoning.
Mhm.
And I really had to have the same response to that request because again, it's along the same lines as the recommendation uh, from the state regarding a revow is that you should have a new comprehensive plan and new zoning every so many years. And again, it just comes back to the hundreds of thousands of dollars that needs to be spent to do that.
Sure.
Yeah, so,
I get it.
okay. I know you do. Okay, being as we don't have any public comment, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I make a motion.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so moving on to our workshop. We have the Hyde Park Climate Smart Communities Task Force that we'd like to hear from and ask them the work that they've been doing and just get an update. So Neil is the liaison to the CAC, and maybe you want to go ahead and bring in our guest, Neil, and
They should be here.
Richard
Sure,
Maddox
Carrie's
is
here.
here, and is Carrie
Hi.
there?
Yep, I'm here.
Areas are
And
hi
There's-
Carrie, hi Richard,
Hi.
hello.
hi, how
guys.
are you?
JC, and Richard is the coordinator for the Climate Smart Task Force.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us tonight.
Very good.
Thanks
Thank you
for
very
having
much for the invitation. Neil, I would like to share the PowerPoint presentation.
Go right ahead.
Are people seeing it?
Nope.
No.
Not yet.
If you can't do it, I'll do it, Richard.
Please go right ahead, sir.
Can everybody see it?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
I get myself off to one side. Carrie, go right ahead.
Okay. So I don't know if anybody remembers, in 2015, the CAC presented a similar presentation about what the Climate Smart Community Program is, and so we'd be able to adapt it. We fortunately have, last year, we were able to get a lot of new members on the CAC, and we finally have been able to really get it started and start looking at everything that can be done. So tonight we just sort of wanted to give an overview of what we're working on, kind of tell the public what we're working on, and also try to see if anybody's interested, solicit some help from residents, see if there's anything that somebody might be interested in, or, one of the things that we realized that we forgot to do is see if there's part of the program that, maybe the town board would like to see implemented first, or something that that you may be interested in. So if you could go to the next slide. And then also we wanted to discuss just what work we've been doing with Cornell Cooperative Extension. They've been really great, and they've really poured tons of hours into going over everything that Hyde Park has already done that applies to this program. And then we just wanted to go over the new stuff we're looking to do. And Richard joined us last year and really took this program to heart and decided to be the task force coordinator, and he's really poured a lot of his time into this program. So I'll let Richard talk about what's going on with it.
Carrie, thank you very much. Neil, could I ask you the next slide? Okay, so as you're going to hear repeatedly, we are asking for your help. If you hear a replication here quite a bit, we view you as the dream team. Everybody knows you and you know everybody. So there's 6 particular specific task areas that we need help on. But as we go down through the slides, you'll be able to get a more complete understanding of what's going on here. Next slide. And as Carrie said, you probably have some ideas of things that you'd like to make sure get done. And please be thinking about that as we go through the next slides. We're not going to go through the wonderful slide presentation that Carrie put together some time back about climate smart communities. Next slide. But what we do want to do is remind you of what the benefits are. Could you scooch that up just a smidgen? The benefits to the town as we pursue the Climate Smart Communities program. Next. When Carrie first gave you a presentation, it was in its nascent form and just moving forward a little bit. And since that time, next slide, things have gone nuts. There are now over 300 registered towns, government entities here in the New York Climate Smart Community Program. And of those 360 are bronze certified. And that's what we're after, folks. We are after a bronze certification. And because there's a little bit of a competitive edge here, we're kind of got our eyes on Rhinebeck to the north and Beacon to the south that have silver certified already. So we don't really see a need to stop at bronze certification. We're heading for the silver for right now, and they'll eventually be gold as well. Go ahead. Please remember what it is. You probably do remember what it is, the Climate Smart Communities focus. The whole issue is to minimize climate change impact by reducing greenhouse gas emissions and by making adaptations to this changing world. Next. The Climate Smart Community Program was put together with DEC and NYSERDA and a variety of Public Service Commission, a variety of different entities, government entities. And the program has essential focus of about 10 different areas. If you attack the climate issue in these 10 areas, these 10 general areas, it's going to have an impact, both in terms of reducing the greenhouse gases, but also reducing the impact. So these 10 general areas, next screen, please. DEC lumped them all together into this, and magnifying glasses will be provided. And there'll be a small exam at the end of the so the point being here is that there are dozens, if not scores, of ways that we can actually reduce greenhouse gases here in the town and also be adapting towards and resilient towards the changes that are taking place. Next slide, please. As Carrie pointed out, could you scooch that up just a smidgen? Not to worry, you folks have this report in an email that was sent to you. We asked Cornell Cooperative Extension to get involved to help us assess where we are. Our goal right now is this bronze, the little green circle down in the lower corner, 120 points. And you saw those dozens, scores of different things that could be taking place to achieve these goals. It's pretty daunting. But then Cornell helped us understand we're already well towards the goal. We've got between 70 and 90 points already. And we're going through the process of documenting these, gathering the necessary documentation so that we can actually submit and secure the points. Next slide, please. So in the course of, and again, you have this in your email, Danielle went through and did a complete review using all of those dozens of things to see where we were. These are the things that, some of the things that we need to be focusing on. Next slide. And she, stirring the dust there, we discovered that there's really a significant, as I say, a significant number of completed tasks already. Next slide. Some rather impressive things have taken place, not least of all is the charging station, the visual environment program, etc. Next slide. And other things, really powerful park trails program. This all relates to reducing, for example, down here, the sidewalks and bicycle, reducing car emissions by having sidewalks and bikeways as an alternative, and other things. Next slide. Another really nifty things that pulling little squirmy things out of the vernal pool so the kiddos can kind of understand science in a little better fashion, and us bigger kiddos as well. Next slide. So we currently are working on these items. Many of these have already been done. And as I say, we're pulling together the documentation in order to make sure that we get the points that we deserve for the things that the town has already done. And it really is quite impressive, the environmental orientation, the sense of the outdoor and natural resources that this town has. Next slide. This is where we'd like to spend the next, I see we're at 10 minutes right now, and our allotted period of time is 10 minutes, so we don't want to spend, can you blow that up for us a little bit, expand it? I was going to do it there with my screen, but these are the things that we're really working on right now, and we need your help on. In the general, if you could increase this, magnify it, yeah, zoom it in a little bit. Generally speaking, we're looking for people who just have a passion for it. They've got great success. They just get really excited about interacting with other agencies. Someone who has education and outreach experience can bring programs together and education programs, lighting, solar, stream bank and protection, forestry, these types of things. People who are involved in these items, please have them contact us, and we will give them a task and a very well-defined specific goals to be attacking. Every one of these points we can talk about in more depth. We're running out of time right now, but we're rather passionate about this ourselves, and are very much interested in speaking with anybody to move this whole ball forward. Next slide. And thank you so very much for your time. I appreciate it. We're all very grateful that you gave us an opportunity to come and speak to you. And we are available to answer questions. And here's how to reach us right down here.
Richard, installing solar farms in the town, which I believe we have 3, does that award us any points, having solar farms?
It moves us down the road, yes. It also, the other thing that we need to be focusing on is the policy associated with installing future farms as well.
And have you calculated that into your calculation already, the solar farms that we have?
I believe those solar farms that we currently have are in that you notice there was a 70 to 90 range. There's several items here that we need to make sure that we're eligible for before we pop the champagne cork.
Great.
But thank you for that input, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you, Richard. That was a very nice, nice presentation. And we want to thank you for your time and your passion and your energy. such a worthy cause, and it's good that you're providing us direction. So I think, from my perspective, like an easy item to accomplish might be completing the complete streets policy.
Yes,
And I would think that there's probably model laws. I know that, the Greenway Guide has already developed their complete street, and so philosophy, but also DOT. So I'm kind of wondering if you could send me some information on that, or direct me to a place where we could look that up, other towns that have done it, or other resources that we could examine.
absolutely. Yes, ma'am. I'll get right on that and I'll get that to you straight away. I do need to mention, however, I'm not operating in a vacuum. Carrie, Dave, Aaron, it's wonderful working with these folks. It's a real
So
thrill.
nice. But I know it's all about the teamwork, really. So
And it's also nice to have you on. You have your interests as well. And it's wonderful
Yeah.
to know that we've got somebody at the top concerned about this as well.
yeah, I mean, it certainly benefits all of us, so we're eager to do that. So it's interesting that we have between 73 and 92 points. So to get to the bronze was to get to what we needed 120, or was that to get to the silver?
120 for the bronze. Yes,
For the
ma'am.
bronze, okay. All right, well, that's great. And so I'm wondering if applying for additional grant funding is a possibility for Greenway. Do they provide any assistance for the first task that you kind of had listed, which was just doing like analysis of how of various efforts that we've already made? I mean, I know you worked with Cornell Cooperative, but has there been any Greenway applications or any thought?
No, ma'am. Thus far, we're working exclusively with volunteer time to pull together this information. As we move into the next sector, we'll be having more involvement with other communities and other organizations, both official and private. Most of that work will be done with volunteer help. There may come a time when funding is required for some additional beings. We recently were encouraged to submit an application for something that would bring about $8,000 to pay my salary and my involvement in some training activities. And I assured the people, well, I really don't need that money. And is there something else we could do with that? And they said, well, talk with your town. And Neil and I have already, Neil has already spoken with us about this. And the opportunity is for us to put that money into a pot and use it towards future climate smart community activities. So we always have our eye out looking for ways to bring money into the till.
Sounds good. Okay, well, thanks again. And Carrie, did you have anything else that you would like to add?
No, I think Richard did a great job. I'm
Okay.
good with that.
Well, so I know Neil attends your meetings, so maybe developing it with Neil, like a short list of things that the actions that the town board can work on would be helpful.
Unfortunately,
ma'am.
I am kept abreast. I'm not able to attend the meetings because they conflict with our planning board meetings.
Ah, okay.
So,
Richard, one other thing, Richard, about 2 or 3 years ago, we installed some calibration equipment on the highway trucks for how much salt is put down during storms. So I would imagine that's a really good climate smart points award system. We did that in conjunction with the town of Poughkeepsie. So it really reduces the amount of salt that's put down on our roadways during storms. So that might be something you might want to look at as well.
Absolutely. And this is emblematic of how we look to you folks for your institutional knowledge and memory of all these things that you've done. And this is bumping us towards that bronze. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate all you're doing.
Okay,
You're welcome.
well, thanks again. And you have a lovely Thanksgiving, both of you.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Carrie.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep, take
Thank you.
care.
Bye.
Okay, so we're going to move on then to our resolutions. Maybe before we do that, though, we do have I know sometimes it's approaching dinner time, and I just wanted to get a couple things out before we go ahead to the resolutions, because maybe people tune out when it gets kind of a little on the dull side. But the first is our celebration of the holidays this year, and our rec director and our rec leader, Teresa Gasparini, and many of our civic organizations, Friends of Hyde Park and Hyde Park Visual Environment, the fire departments have all come up with a great way to celebrate the holidays. And so we're encouraging everyone's participation in Merry and Bright. And Neil.
Love the video. Love the video.
Yeah. So it will be run along the same lines as our tag sale, where if people register their house, it'll go on a map, and we're really just looking forward to people decorating Hyde Park and making it beautiful. And the town we're doing our part. We have some additional lighting going in at Town Hall. So is there additional information there?
So I
Neil?
think it's what, December 6th is when we're doing the lighting of the tree and all that at Town Hall, right? And then I think December 20th is when we're doing a Facebook Live event announcing the winners, right? Is that?
December 6th is the kickoff event, which will
Okay.
include the tree lighting, as well as that's when the police department and the fire departments and the parks will be also decorated for one night only.
Great.
Yeah, and we have the FDR home and Vanderbilt participating. Is that right, Neil?
I know they've been asked. I'm not sure whether they've
Okay.
completed it.
That would be great if they do.
And then this is online is where you can get your registration form to sign up if you want to be one of the houses on the tour. And they need this form in by November 25th so they can get the map together.
And there's been a great response to the registration so far.
Oh, there has, Joe?
Oh,
Oh,
good.
that's so great.
Yeah, according to Teresa, they've
Oh.
gotten quite a few responses.
Very
Like
nice.
30 something.
It's going to be, and I think the county is also putting something together along these lines too.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so we're finding ways to adapt.
Yep.
Okay, great. Then just the other item that the county executive held a call today, a conference call, which we will likely be doing weekly from this point on regarding COVID, and I'm sure people are following it closely. And if you look, Hyde Park, we are up to 28 cases, which just last week it was not, I think we had
6.
5, yeah, 5 or
Yeah.
6. So it's, the county executive was very passionate in his request that we all as municipal leaders share this information with our constituents and really ask people to follow the recommendations, of course, the social distancing, the washing of hands, and the difficult one to follow is going to be having small holiday get-togethers. And, I know for me, it'll be probably the first time in 37 years I haven't had my entire family, and that's hard, but we are reducing it to 7 people this year. And, as I said, the county executive was very impassioned to make this plea that, if we can really take care and follow the directives carefully at this point, that we may be able to avoid what we saw in March and April. And so the good news is, of course, that vaccines are likely to be approved fairly soon, but there is still a question on distribution and how quickly the average person would be able to obtain the vaccine. The other good news is that the hospitals who have been in contact with the health department feel better prepared, but they are starting to fill up. So I did want to do my job and just share that with our public to please, try your very best to be safe, especially the next 6 weeks or so.
Yes.
Okay, so are we ready to roll into the resolutions?
Just real quickly, Neil, on the Marion Bright, maybe we could have Peter on channel 22 run that video several times. Just the video about Marion Bright to advertise it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, Caroline, shared that information with him today, and I know
Okay.
Visual Environment put it in their flyer, but yeah, share the video. Why
Yeah,
not?
share the video. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
Yeah,
great
that's great.
video.
Yeah.
It's on Facebook, so if you go to the town's Facebook page or the town's parks page and
Yes.
Friends of Hyde Park's page and probably Chambers page. So
Yep.
it's out there.
It
Yeah,
sure
the
is.
chamber is working with their businesses, and I think I neglected to mention them earlier, but they're a very active participant in this, so it's going to be great.
Sorry, I forgot them as well.
Great video. Yeah.
Okay, does anyone else have anything they'd like to discuss or share?
One other thing is just one of the resolutions. For Cablevision, we always get a lot of complaints that that's the only game in town. And people were a little bit, I actually received 3 phone calls because, people think that we're keeping competition out, which is not the case.
No.
One constituent wanted to know if there was a way that we could put up the contract so that way they could actually view it. And then
Sure.
secondly, if there's a way, if there's a clause within the contract, Warren, where there's some sort of, is there a way that we can hold them accountable for the lack of service that some of these people are receiving?
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking with them and, we couldn't agree more, but to speak to the first point, it's a non-exclusive contract. And the crux of this matter is Cablevision owns the infrastructure.
Right.
They are not going to let another company use their infrastructure. That's the way these agreements are designed. That's the way it is in New York State. If another company wanted to come in, they would be more than welcome to. We've
Yes.
actually reached out to Verizon and
Yes.
asked them to come. They would have to lay their own infrastructure. That is the essence of the issue. There's nothing else to it than the fact that a company does not want to spend the money.
Right.
So the question becomes, yes, we have had many conversations with Cablevision about their poor performance, including one with the county executive where he had the FCC on the phone. We have expressed to them our concern, and this public hearing is a great opportunity for people to register, and we will have their representative here to answer your questions, to hear your complaints, and we welcome it. Please do join us. Sure, we can put the contract up. You'll see it's really boilerplate. There is we're happy to put it up. It's in a draft form, but it will put you to sleep for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that, I wanted you to really go over it because, a lot of people think that when they
Yes,
see that this is a
absolutely.
resolution that we are stopping, others from coming in. And I mentioned Verizon and how we've been pleading with them. And so it's just, I just wanted people to know that this is not a town board issue that we're trying to keep competition out.
No, and in fact, it's the same in every municipality. I think there's one or two that has a couple of options. I think maybe the town of Poughkeepsie
Town and
has,
city, yeah.
has a couple of options. But, you know, I brought this up on our mayors and supervisors call today because several other communities are also negotiating their franchise agreement with Cablevision right now. So I just wanted to hear from the other municipalities how it was going for them. And in Red Hook, they have Spectrum, and it's essentially the same thing, except actually worse because
They're terrible. They're actually worse.
it's actually worse because there are parts of Red Hook that have no service.
Yep.
Do you believe that?
Yep.
And so part of their negotiation is to require Spectrum to provide service to everyone, which, you know, in this day and age, you would think that's crazy. And in Dutchess County, we have a municipality that doesn't have any service, but that is the case. So yeah, we can try. We've tried to negotiate with him. I've certainly brought that up. We can, I think it's very important for the public to register for the public hearing and say their piece. And, but at the end of the day, it's Cablevision or nothing.
Right.
I mean, that's you know, that's the reality. I mean, but it was terrible because it isn't just about watching TV anymore. It's
No,
about children being able
Education,
to get their lessons. It's about you know, municipal employees being able to service the public. It's not adequate,
No.
and they have informed us that they have infrastructure improvements scheduled for Hyde Park. I think 2021, Neil, is that what they said?
2022.
2022.
It probably would have been 2021 if we hadn't had COVID.
And the, you know, we've tried to hone, you know, to confirm those dates. I don't know that we were successful in that. But their plan is to replace the entire infrastructure and that services our town. So
It's a big deal. And it's a lot of,
it sure is.
a lot of
Sure
money.
is.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, well, that's true. But if from what they're
So
saying,
it's like the Spectrum was mentioned. Time Warner spun it off, and Governor Cuomo actually got Spectrum to commit to putting at least Wi-Fi in certain areas, and they're far short of what they promised the state. So I know there's some action there too on that one company. So the whole, you know, everybody's involved. Our meeting right now, I couldn't get on without, you know, optimum Wi-Fi.
but yes, Ken, so I think we all agree that at one point in time, we had very irate calls to Cablevision. And that's if you
Yes,
can
we have.
actually even find a way to get through. And
Yeah,
that,
if you could talk to somebody, right?
and that was something that we really tried to hold them accountable for.
Yes.
And that,
they made an excuse, it's another COVID excuse, which I think we're all going to get tired of COVID excuses, but they, you know, in all fairness, they did have to shut down call centers. So I think that would be why we cannot get human being on the phone when our internet or TV goes down. So,
but they did say that they monitor their Facebook page, right, Neil? They also said that we could give their email contact to those that need to email them. They also said that they are focusing, there are certain areas of town that I forget exactly what the technical part was. Do you remember, Neil, like particularly in Greenbush, that they had said that there was some other, do you remember this conversation? Some additional factor that they appreciate when people do let them know when their Cablevision is down, because there could be exacerbating factors in terms of the trunk. I don't know. It's a little You don't remember? Okay. It was a little technical for me. But again, they do have the Facebook page,
Yeah.
and we will, when
We'll
we,
definitely use email.
yeah, he said that we can use his email. to
And
pro-
this December 7th is when I believe we're going to schedule the public hearing for. So
Yep.
please register if you have something to say.
Or you can also send in written
Written.
comments.
Yep.
Yeah, if you don't prefer to be on live, you could register your send your comments into our town clerk.
Great.
Eileen, several of the constituent emails that I received, I know that you were involved in,
Yep.
came from the Green Bush area.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Green
there's something else going on there, Joe. And I don't recall exactly what the technical part was, but have you heard from those constituents?
No, I supplied them the email, like you just said, for the person to talk to, and I have not heard back from them.
Mhm. So maybe it was rectified,
Yeah.
that particular issue. And, the other information that we received is that, everyone rents a modem. Or if you buy your own, but many people rent the modems, and that sometimes the issue can be with the modem. So that is another area you can explore when you do call.
Yep.
These storms have been really brutal on the modems.
Mhm.
So we actually I personally had to have our modem replaced because we had an outage, and when we came back on, the modem no longer functioned properly.
Yeah. And then does that also impact your router?
Yes. Without
Yeah.
a modem, your router won't work.
Yeah, but so I mean, I really wasn't aware of, how all that works, but now I am. So, you do have these two other devices that work together with the service provider to provide good service to your home.
Yeah.
So that's,
That could be a long meeting, December 7th.
I have a feeling, I know that this is an issue in every municipality,
Yeah,
and
it is.
like I said, though, they're the only game in town, and that is not because the town tries to keep anyone out. As
I
I
know
said,
that.
it's a non-exclusive contract. Non-exclusive means if anyone else wanted to come in, they can. Okay, but thanks for bringing
you.
that up.
No, thank you. Appreciate you going over
All right,
that.
okay,
Yes,
okay. So
On to
go
the
ahead.
resolutions.
I have a question on one of them. You hear me?
Yep.
Oh, it's on the hawking and peddling license that it's resolution 4. I wanted to ask Warren, do we have to give that permission, since I guess they met the minimum standards, whatever it was, to qualify? And I have a problem with the way the company operates. But the biggest problem I have is during COVID, they're gonna be knocking on doors, and a lot of homes that need repairment, they eyeball them from the street. Could be senior citizens, and they could be exposed, to individuals they shouldn't be. And you just said Mark Molinaro is really, blowing the horn, which he should. So I wouldn't open the door, but maybe not everybody would. And they, I don't know if they're going to have masks and stay distance. But do we have to pass it because they did the minimum of what they had to do, whatever?
Yeah, they're in compliance with our current law.
Okay.
And we are working on making some changes to the law, which hopefully will give the town board more oversight and discretion in denying or granting these. But we don't have that right now.
So we really can't reject it.
You have to, I would see no grounds for denying it under our current law.
Well, I'm going to vote no, but
Fine.
Yeah, and we certainly will expect that people are careful opening their doors, and it's, as Warren has described, a ministerial act. It's not a discretionary act that if they've provided the documentation, the town is required to provide the license, but that doesn't mean that anyone is required to open the door. They are required to follow the protocol that that has been laid out in terms of social distancing and wearing masks. And as Warren said, Dave, we are in the process of updating our hawking and peddling law, and we'll be adding some additional criteria that we can use to make sure that anyone we provide this permit to has been properly vetted and it's.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
All righty, so it's ready to go.
Ready for this? Okay. Resolution 1116-1, 2020. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to execute an extension of the intermunicipal cooperation agreement with the Town of Hyde Park Highway Department and the Hyde Park Central School District for 2021.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thanks for the reminder, Dave.
It's okay. Okay, resolution 1116-2 of 2020. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Clerk to solicit bids for the 2021 highway materials for the Town of Hyde Park Highway Department.
Okay, and this was amended at the dais to.
No,
No,
that'd be number
that's
three.
number 3. Okay. Okay, so all in favor?
aye,
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Resolution 1116-3 of 2020, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Clerk to solicit bids for 2021 contractual services for the Town of Hyde Park Highway Department. And this is the one that was,
amended
amended.
to remove the basin and pipe cleaning.
Cleaning, yes.
Okay. May I have a second?
Second,
And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
resolution 1116-4 of 2020, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Clerk to issue hawking and peddling licenses to members of Power Home Remodeling Group LLC.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm opposed, no.
Resolution 1116-5 of 2020, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to adopt a retention and disposition schedule for the New York Local Government Records, LGS-1, issued pursuant to Article 57-A of the Arts and Cultural Affairs Law, replacing the MU-1 schedule.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Okay. Resolution 1116-6 of 2020, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve vacation carryover for the Town of Hyde Park Police Chief Robert Benson.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 1116-7 of 2020, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to acknowledge the resignation of Town of Hyde Park Downtown Initiative Coordinator Emily Svensson.
No.
Well,
No.
It's hard to let her go, but.
All right,
why
I'm
not?
second. I'm
All
second it.
right. All
I
in
vote no.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you so much, Emily. Amazing
Em.
contributor.
Yes. Resolution 1116-8 of 2020, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to accept the benefit assessment rolls for the 2020 for special improvement districts within the Town of Hyde Park.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Resolution 1116-9 of 2020, resolution authorizing the revisions to the 2021 approved preliminary budget and adopting the final budget for fiscal year 2021 for the Town of Hyde Park.
Do a roll.
Second.
call.
Yep, and second, and who did the second?
Me, Dave.
Okay, and Donna, would you call the board?
Councilman Krepnick,
Aye.
Councilman Ray,
Aye.
Councilman Marine,
Aye.
Councilman Schneider,
Aye.
and Supervisor Rohr.
Aye. I just want to thank the comptroller and her staff for her diligence and for making sure that we're under the tax cap again. And of course, thank all the department heads for their hard work in managing and be taking good care of the taxpayer dollars.
And I'd like to thank the supervisor again for your leadership, because without your leadership, all this wouldn't happen for over all the years that I've served with you. So again, thank you for your diligence and your hard work. And I appreciate it as not only a board member, but as a resident of the town of Hyde Park. So thank you.
I agree
Thank-
completely with what Kenny just said. Couldn't agree more.
Here, here.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the vote of confidence, that's for sure.
You got it.
We
Who's
need a
first?
second.
Oh.
We need a second.
Second,
What? We
we
already,
did a roll call. I guess we
We didn't do a second, okay. Did the
We're
roll-
on Resolution 10. We did a, Councilman Ray was the motion and Councilman Schneider just seconded it.
And then this,
And-
No, not
No,
not
no.
10.
no, we did.
that was 9.
that was
we
9.
did-
We didn't do 10 yet,
We
Don.
haven't done 10 yet.
It
So
was 9, Donna.
I made the motion for 9 and David seconded it, and then we did a roll call.
Right.
And now we're moving on to 10.
On to 10.
Now it's 10, right?
Yep.
Okay. Resolution 1116-10 of 2020. Resolution authorizing the town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to submit the Dutchess County Community Development Block Grant application fiscal year 2021 for the town of Hyde Park Dinsmore Park Playground Improvement Project.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I think we need a roll call on that for Pete.
Oh, sorry, okay, yes.
I'm
please,
sorry.
Donna.
Councilman Krupnik,
Aye.
Councilman Ray,
Aye.
Councilman Marine,
Aye.
Councilman Schneider,
Aye.
and Supervisor Rohr.
Aye.
Sorry, Donna.
Nope, that's, Pete uses that to submit with the application.
Gotcha.
Okay, resolution 1116-11 of 2020, resolution authorizing Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve non-protunct the attendance of Herbert Sweet, Zoning Board of Appeals Chairman, to attend the Association of Towns virtual training webinar on planning and zoning boards and town board relationships on Friday, November 13, 2020.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
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 Resolution 1116-12 of 2020, resolution scheduling a public hearing on the renewal of the cable franchise agreement with Cablevision of Wappingers Falls, Inc.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So again, that public hearing will be December 7th.
So, yes.
Yes, we added at the dais, resolution 1116-13 of 2020. Resolution authorizing the town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to execute the access easement and communications facilities renewal agreement for Verizon Wireless of the East LP DBA Verizon Wireless and Anderson Center Services, Inc.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll read 14, Dave.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, this is also added at the dais. Resolution 1116-14 of 2020. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to create the hourly position of account clerk in the Town of Hyde Park Personnel Department and appoint Laura Olson to said position.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the purpose of this appointment at this time is that our wonderful personnel person, Sandy Bruno, is going to be retiring in March. She agreed to stay on for an additional 3 months because we begged. And so, what we've been doing, and I think it's really been very successful, is to, have a transition period where we are able to train the new employees to take over and learn from the experts. So that's why we're adding this position, but it's a temporary addition, and with the expectation it'll be a transition.
Great.
Very nice. Thank you, Sandy, for staying on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so just for clarity's sake, so Heidi Peters, who we hired 2 years ago, she'll really be assuming Sandy's duties. And then, a significant part of that is payroll, which is not a typical human resource function, but that is just the way it's been designed in Hyde Park. So Heidi is wonderful also. And so she's been working with Sandy, learning all the various detailed work that they do, you know, registering everyone for health insurance, retirement, and it's a myriad of things. And so Heidi will move into Sandy's position and Laura will move into Heidi's.
Great.
Great.
Okay.
And then
Did
just
we
one other
vote
thing,
on
I just want to give Howie, our highway superintendent, a big shout out. You know, we had a pretty good windstorm and rainstorm here last night, and we had a couple trees come down, and him and his crew, you know, were out part of the night getting the roads cleaned up, and earlier this morning to get people out. So just want to thank him and his crew for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great.
Okay, so just want to wish everyone a very happy and quiet Thanksgiving, and
Yes.
we look forward to seeing you at Merry and Bright in some capacity or another. But do take care, everyone, and see you all soon.
Thanks, Supervisor.
Okay, good night,
All right,
everybody.
take care.
Good
Night,
night,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.
See
Good
ya.
night.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
To close?
Oh,
I'd like
wait,
to-
sorry.
I'd like to make
may I
a
have
motion.
to
I'd like to
adjourn?
make a motion to close the meeting.
Okay, second. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.